A pleasant good morning, my friends. This is your truly Jamie Mamdi. This is your program, my friend, called It on the Heart on Saturday, the 13th of February 2016. It's a pleasure being back with you all, my friends. I know I've been away for like a month, and many of you must be wondering, we were traveling Mamdi all along. Some of you, enjoying to support us, may be glad. Some of you PNM supporters may be glad. But I know some of you all were concerned, but the reality of it, my friends, is that I'm trying not to get too caught up, with the world today and with the political landscape and but all the negativity that's been going on here, sweet TNT, my friends, and I really, I really had to do some soul searching and reflect on my life, my spiritual life, and focus on what's really more important. And the important things in life to me is friends and family. Most important, my friends, my relationship with the Almighty God, especially during this um sacred holy period of Lent. And I wanted to deal with issues that affect the Catholic community, but most important, the Christian community as a whole, right? Issues that affect them with the church and stuff. And things that I am saying, a lot of things I'm saying wrong. But this whole issue with with Mr. Timothy with his statements, I really like to address, because I'm really concerned, especially, as someone who lost his mother, right, 20 years ago, right? Right, my mom died of cancer 20 years ago when I was 9 years old. And when I think of how women are treated and how women are being looked at, and issues that affect women, how many of us, especially men, stand up for women? How many? And do we care? But we so egoistic, and we only care about manhood, and and that's how we can, care about feelings and emotions and how to express ourselves, and that's I think problem here in TNT, my friends. The problem with men in Trinidad, men in Trinidad to be alright, right? As a guy, I'm speaking by saying that how men must learn, right? And take a note from me how to, really express yourselves, and not, get caught up with emotion and anger, my friends. And when I listen to these statements by Mr. Timke, I mean, my God, I mean, it's like, like I said before, common sense is not so common in TNT, my friends. Really and truly, people with, I mean, a man with high esteem, right? Who is representing a CARICOM nation, who, people sort of look up to, a mayor of Port of Spain, right? And, a man with experience, and as an adult, you ought to know better. And not only that, you're a father, right? You're a husband. I sure you wouldn't like your daughter or your wife, to be judged by the physical appearance. So why are you judging, you know, a girl who was murdered now, reports of murder? We don't know the circumstances of what happened, which is very interesting. And Mr. Timothy chose to comment on, the autopsy and stuff. I think, we can look into it like a charge, persons in this country must be held accountable, whether it's social media or otherwise. For reckless statements they made, we need a law, in terms of issues such as religion and race and sensitive issues, to charge those, right? Because, statements like these, it causes a reaction, it causes a sense of terror, because crime is not just, my friends, crime is not just a crime, crime is a form of terror because you're terrorizing, a family, who lost a loved one. They wouldn't be able to see a loved one again. Can you imagine, right? I mean, I lost my mom 20 years ago of cancer. Can you imagine the pain, you know, especially, not having a mother around? It isn't easy, my friends. So, when I listen to the statement by Mr. Timke, it not only has insult to the woman of Trinidad and Tobago, is a is meant to, because the fact of the matter is we are mothers, men and wives, and and when you hear these statements, picture yourself as a husband and a father, and you hear a statement like that. And suppose someone made statements like that, especially in a death, or your daughter or your mother. How would you feel? So to all those who defending this nonsense, ask yourself, how would you feel? Right? I cannot believe, these statements being made by another mayor too. So I'm seeing a pattern, and what is the, you know, disappointment, a great disappointment, I mean, when I could hear a Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago not, you know, not taking any action by saying, you know what, I think it should be removed. Right? This same Prime Minister before, right, coming into power, right, was chastised, was attacked based on his family life, right? And we, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we stood up for him. I voted for him because you know why? Because the attack on Dr. Kid Christopher Rowley and our family was uncalled for. You don't demonize somebody, based on whatever past. So Mr. Timke, right, made statements about how she was dressing, and and the fact of the matter is, no one should be punished, right, by by how whatever mistakes they make in the past, especially by murder, So no one deserves to be murdered, and when you want to talk about issues such as rape and stuff, right? No one asks to be raped, right? No one, right? So I don't think a girl will dress in a manner, for anything to happen to her, right? Right? Everyone has their way of expressing themselves. We may not agree with it, right? We will not understand it, right? And I'm hearing new, no, I'm hearing new religious leaders, uh, and look at the pattern. Who's agreeing? Yeah, look at persons such as religious leaders such as Sat Mirage. You have people like Sat Mirage. You have person like Maxi Coffee, right? And these same persons ask them where they were when top and made certain statements. Where they were with the demonization of Dr. K. Christopher Robley, where they were, right? And interestingly, now they're commenting and and they're agreeing with these statements. No, I'm not saying when Mr. Tim Key, I'm not saying that how you cannot speak out concerns about, women's how a woman carry about herself. You all you need to simply say, sir, is listen. I'm concerned about the way how women carry about themselves, and I would like them to please be more responsible in terms of their action, but most importantly, be responsible of the companionship you're with, because you see a lot of you know, especially in America, especially with the drug, right? And it happened in TNT too. So we need to, so in that aspect, right? You can speak out against, and encourage ladies to be more careful and stuff. But to judge them by the way how they dress, I mean, come on. I mean, and especially the religious leaders of Trinidad and Tobago, right? We cannot, and I'm gonna tie this in with this with next week with issues that affect the Christian community. When you have women dressing up, right, in skimpy outfits and come to church, and a lot of people look down on them and say all sorts of things. But if we want people to come into the church, we need to welcome all. We can't judge them. We need to embrace them and make them feel welcome. We need to stop this sense of labeling, my friends. We need to stop this labeling and judging and bringing on one another. And we need to grow up as a society. I'm really concerned. I'm really concerned, my friends. And the men are trying to be need to really stand up for the women, because women are made to be loved and cherish it at all times. That's why the Almighty sent woman here, especially when you look at the sacrifices a woman makes, when you look at the labor and the days of sewing and stuff. We need to appreciate the sacrifice the woman made. And it's the little things that count, my friends. The little things, right? And if we teach our sons from small how to respect a woman and stuff, right? That that child will grow up to be, a gentleman, my friends. So yeah, so it's all about. I think it's all about education drive. And I'm seeing persons protesting and stuff, a group called Woman Trans stuff, and I like to say congratulations to them. And but interestingly though, I'm not hearing that girl from area, oh god, anyway, right? Who spoke out, when she was, dressed. So I'm not hearing that person. I'm not hearing. Interestingly, I'm hearing members of the opposition. But I don't want to go too political, but I just find it's very interesting. The voices you hear now, we were there before. When you look at the whole issues with women, and when you look at state attacks on women, when you had even a former AG attacking a woman, and where were these voices? I asked where were these voices, but now all of a sudden you're hearing voices, you know. So my friends, I don't want to be too long, you know. I'm trying to limit myself into what exactly I'm saying, and and so this program, I'm gonna try to limit this program. It may not be every Saturday, right? Also, I need to be careful on what I'm saying, especially, we live in a very sensitive nature, my friends. And, a lot of people get emotional, and, persons, even life, been affected tragically by how by expressing themselves. And we need to really be careful on, what you say, but it's especially how you see it. You know, I really don't want to, expose myself into, when you look at persons, life is being on the line. So I need to limit myself into exactly what I'm saying, but I do see a purpose for this program going on, regardless of my minor speech problem. I'm not. One thing about me, I don't let minor things hold me back. And sometimes I feel like I'm too ambitious. Because there's so much I want to do, and a lot of people may not understand my vision. Because my physical appearance and my disability, and we really need to stop the discrimination, my friends, and we need to uplift and love one another, my friends. So my friends, I thank you all for viewing. I definitely want to deal with issues that affect the Christian community next week, especially the during period of Lent. And so, and I will, and along the way I'll tell you um if this program will continue or not, because like I said, doing this program also it takes a tone on you. So I'm thinking, and and when I make up my mind exactly, what I want to do, I will let you guys know. You guys will be the first to know. But I thank you all for your love and support so far. I really do. It's really touching. And also, before I end, my friends, let me just take the time to wish each and every one of you, especially you couples out there, happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. I will be home probably eating chocolates all by myself. I'm still single, so single like a lot of my friends. So a lot of people ask me, Javi, you're so intelligent, how do we express it? Why can't I get still single? I tell myself, what, sometimes I try to figure that out. But really, actually, maybe go on something else, something bigger for me. So, it's all on God's calling, and God ready for me to get a special person in my life to love and accept me for who I am. I'm sure you'll send that. It's all about patience, you know, and live your life pleasing to God, and all that you wish for will come to the Almighty. So I am no worries, my friends, really and truly. I am happy and content with my own life, and I'm going to continue being focused. Don't be distracted, my friends. So my friends, I thank you all. May the Almighty God bless each and every one of you. Take care. God bless.